Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, doing the what's next on Jojo Diaz following his tough 12-round unanimous decision loss to Devin Haney on December 4th when he main evented a DAZN card. Only the second loss of Jojo's career as he tried to win a championship in a second weight class. This is actually the third weight class he's fought for a title in, though. You know, Jojo is started at 126, you know, he's always been a very solid, and the last 4 years, you know, ever since the 2018 loss to Gary Russell Jr., you knew Joseph Diaz was a good fighter, and he won a title at 130, and just this year moved up to 135, and put himself in position for another world title. And you know, he showed no fear and went up against Devin Haney, and he just got outboxed. Devin Haney is a true lightweight, and had a very significant reach advantage, and he used that to perfection. Jojo landed some good shots, though. I said it before, I think if Jojo had more of a power punch at 135, that he probably would have knocked Devin Haney out, but he just is not a big puncher, you know, at 135 especially. So, tough loss right here, but he took it like a champ, and he says he's going to come back and keep doing it, and I'm glad to hear that, because I think Jojo, I got him, I believe, number 7 in this division, but it's 135 is one of those divisions now where if you're number 7, you'd be like in the top 3 of any other division, because that's how good 135 is right now. But you know, definitely can build on it. I'm hoping he gets back in the first half of the year, shakes this off, because there's no shame in losing to a guy as talented as Devin Haney. And let's run through the top 10 and see what possibly could be next for Joseph Diaz Jr. In his next fight, or possibly next year, period. So when they come off a loss, you know, you kind of have to open the door up, because a lot of guys want to come back and get a tune-up bout in between. So let's run through the top 10. We start with number 1, George Kambosos Jr. Kambosos and Diaz, I doubt lock horns. Kambosos is sitting pretty right now, coming off the win over Fema Lopez. Whatever his next fight is, it's going to be against Haney, Lomachenko, or Gervonta Davis. It's going to be a major fight for Kambosos. And Haney beat Diaz convincingly. There'd be no point in Kambosos fighting him at all next year. So I doubt Kambosos and Diaz would remotely even be possible. Number 2 is Fema Lopez. I only have Lopez still ranked at lightweight because he hasn't officially moved to 140 yet. And when he does that, that's when he's going to schedule his next fight at 140. When he does that, he'll be out of there. He works with Top Rank anyways, and Diaz is with Golden Boy. So no chance that Lopez and Diaz come together for a fight. Number 3 is Vasily Lomanchenko. Lomachenko is at, you know, he's number 1 in both the WBO and the WBC right now. Fighting Diaz would be a step back. Plus, Diaz is with Golden Boy, and Lomachenko's with Top Rank. I just don't see these two sides coming together to make a showdown, even though I'd like to see the fight. But I just think Loma is on a different level, and Diaz, there's no way that he's going to give Diaz a crack coming off of a loss. Number 4 is the WBC champion, Devin Haney. There's no point in a rematch. Haney won convincingly. There would be no point in a rematch, so I don't see it. Number 5 is Gervonta Tank Davis. Not seeing this one either. Golden Boy would have to work with Mayweather and the PBC. No chance. Number 6 is Ryan Garcia. Now, if Ryan doesn't get the desired super showdown after his next bout, because I think everybody knows Ryan's going to come back, take on a solid opponent in his next bout, and then second half of the year he's going to want a bigger name opponent. He might fight 3 times. I think Diaz might be one of those fights. I could see Ryan and Diaz getting together, because they were supposed to fight already, and you know, Ryan pulled out of the fight. So I think once Ryan gets back, has his head together, they're both with Golden Boy, it makes for a good solid fight. And really, Ryan fighting Joseph Diaz makes a lot of sense, because if he's got to wait around for Devin Haney, you know, Ryan, he's avoiding him, he goes out and destroys Diaz or beats Diaz, you know, better than Haney did, he can use that to his advantage in a build-up for a fight with Haney. So I definitely think Ryan Garcia and Joseph Diaz could happen at some point in 2022. Number 7 is JoJo. Number 8 for me at lightweight now is Jorge Leonardis. He's fighting in a WBC eliminator to move up the ladder. If Leonardis has to wait around for anybody, I could see him waiting around and fighting Joseph Diaz Jr. It makes a lot of sense. You know, Leonardis he fought Devin Haney back a few months ago. I think it's a very makeable fight, and I think it's a fight of two guys trying to keep pushing towards the top of the division. So I could see Diaz and Leonardis locking horns for sure in 2022. Number 9 is a rematch with Javier Fortuna. Diaz beat Fortuna already. I don't think there's a high demand for a rematch between these two. And I think Diaz would look at it like, I already beat him, there wouldn't be any point. I don't see them two locking up again in 2022. Two-way tie for 10th. First, former champion Richard Comey. He's coming off a loss. He's with Top Rank. I think it's even possible that Comey moves up to 140, to be honest. I don't see Comey and Diaz coming off in 2022. And then finally, Isaac Cruz, the former world title challenger now. He's coming off that loss to Tank Davis. He's a PBC guy, though, so it's going to be hard for the PBC and Golden Boy to come together. I don't see it, so I'm going to say no to that one. So for JoJo, he's probably going to fight a tune-up bout in his next bout. He'll probably come back, I'd say, you know, April, May area. Maybe you'll see him on a Canelo undercard in May. You know, if Canelo fights on DAZN, that is. But, you know, I could see Diaz coming back around May. And then, you know, taking a tune-up bout. And then I think he's going to want to jump right back in and get a big fight. So I could see Ryan Garcia. I could see Jorge Leonardis for sure. The other guys, it's just going to be tough for him to try to get one of the other big names or a title fight in 2022 because he's coming off a loss. And I think a lot of these guys are lobbying to fight each other. And Diaz is just on the outside looking in, but he can set himself up for something big, you know, towards the end of the year, possibly move himself in line to get right back in the mix, you know, towards the second half of 2022. So it's got to be a rebuild year for Diaz, but he definitely can get himself some major fights, a major fight in 2022. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. That's what's next for Joseph Diaz Jr. following that tough loss to Devin Haney for the WBC lightweight title. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.